What is up, everybody? Welcome to Tooth and Tail Championship 2020.2. I am Delthius. How's it going, everybody? It's going to be a solid night tonight. We've got a super awesome lineup. We're going to be going through a lot of premier matches, so definitely a night to grab that notepad and really study what these players are doing if you're trying to improve. These guys are all from the same group here. It's a bunch of Group A premier match, best of sevens. I'm super hyped for it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, Woody Pun 7, aka Big Pimpatosh, for the raid, man. I always appreciate it. What else we got going on? So don't forget, guys, we've also got the Vieshel Qualnez tournament from Jet Erickson, and that's still underway. And I was just coordinating with him a little bit ago, and we're gonna get to the losers round 3 matches of that custom map tournament tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. I'll be casting the rest of those games as well, and I've been giving it some thought. You know, we've got all these events going on right now, which is really great. So I think I need to move my schedule to a little bit more than just once a week. I don't want to neglect the feast, the replay casting show, where you guys submit me replays and I cast them too much. So moving forward, I might start taking this Friday night 2-hour block and going back to that regular feast broadcasting and trying to shuffle in some of these tournament events on later dates, because I have been getting a lot of replays, so thank you, everybody who continues to send those in. So I don't want to neglect that too much. Yeah, community's too active for feast right now, right? I was thinking maybe Wednesday nights we might be able to get to some tournament matches. I know that's a little bit rough because, you know, the players are coordinating matches throughout the week, so you'll probably see me maybe poke in on like Wednesday nights or maybe on the weekend, like Saturday or Sunday, to get to some of these tournament event stuff. Alright, guys, so without any further ado, you guys don't want to hear me mouth off for a while. Let's hop right into what everybody wants, some high quality, top tier Tooth and Tail here. Let's get it going. We got premier matches here. We're gonna start off with the Gentleman versus Mishi. So let's hop right into game number 1. All right, spawning in the bottom right, we've got Mishi, and his opponent to left, the Gentleman. Now this is a really cool match, right? Like, the Gentleman's one of these guys that's kind of got his nose to the grindstone, you know? He's always on top of the meta. He's always practicing a lot, you know? You often see him, you know, top 5 of the ladder. And his deck really kind of represents that. Meanwhile, Mishi is one of these players who's like an old school great, you know? Definitely one of the GOATs in the Tooth and Tail scene. But I don't think he's, like, as active nowadays, you know what I mean? He kind of pops in and wrecks some tournaments, collects the prize pool, and goes back to the shadows. So let's see how that works. And I should have actually checked the ladder and see how much Mishi has played this season. But what's really cool about Tooth and Tail is it really is one of those games, since it's not super mechanically demanding, you know? As long as you pay attention, as long as you know the core mechanics, you can kind of take a break and come back and be alright. But there's really no substitute for raw experience, though, and I feel like if you're a guy like Mishi coming in and out, you might not be as privy to things like mole timings and knowing, oh, if my opponent tries to get a tier 3, you know, at this exact time, I could just push in and moles and kill him or something like that. And Gentleman rocking the toads here, which I think is a little bit of an interesting pick. Mishi does have the lizards, and Mishi opening up incredibly greedy. Just going one base Warren into second base with double farms. Gentleman actually sees the zone and is going to match the greed. I feel like Gentleman, if he wanted to, could have pulled the trigger, depending on the opening. It looked like he did open 8 farm double. I wasn't actually paying close enough attention to see if he got the mill before that Warren or not. But, you know, there might have been an opportunity to do something like build a bunch of moles, but Gentleman's not going to play that game. He's going to come in here, he's going to say, alright, man, you want to play a macro game? We could play a macro game. And he's starting to just out-macro Mishi. And Mishi's going to come home and, again, just fully saturate the second base. Really, really going hard on those farms. But this attack from Gentleman might be huge. It was 6 Squirrels versus 3. Actually, I don't think it was quite 6. I think that Warren from Gent there was a little bit later. I think he sold that off to build some quicker farms. But he's going to keep this aggression on because he knows Mishi was cutting corners. Mishi going for second base saturation basically as fast as humanly possible. And on a map with this short rush distance, you know, that's very, very dangerous. And Gentleman bringing the aggression a little bit. Does take some favorable trades there. Does manage to pick off a Warren, but Mishi stabilizes. And Mishi does have that small advantage of getting his farms out before Gent. Gent's farms were not too far behind. So if we see on the income graph here, yeah, Mishi enjoyed a little bit of a higher economy for a little bit longer. And let's see if that makes up for the losses that he took in the early game. Honestly, I think it will. Both players here just going to go ahead and transition into a bunch of Tier 2. And it's going to be business as usual. Now, surprisingly enough on this small map, we've got ourselves into a big fat macro game. Gentleman already opting for the third base. And, you know, this was really cool by Mishi up front, but I don't think he can play this macro style forever here. Simply because the geography of this map. You know, yeah, this third base is okay for Mishi, but Gentleman's got access to the fourth, and plus Gentleman can get into this third base pretty quickly. However, Mishi gonna go ahead and use that classic turret ferret strategy to start bringing the pain over to the Gentleman. And what does he have to answer this? He really needs some Falcons, or you know, maybe having like one Warren's worth of moles to dance out front. But he needs something to keep these ferrets at bay. And if I'm the Gent, you know, are you okay with kind of macroing it up? Because eventually you will get the better eco. But no, it looks like Gent wants to move in right here, right now. He's already suffered some damage from Mishi's onslaught. He's building a whole bunch of moles, and he's just going to try to wreck in here and see if he can break this position. I don't know if it's going to work. That is so many turrets here. And Gent's just going to tap out, knowing he's taken too much damage. Damn, Mishi. Killing it. Bam. Let me do a quick... I like where music is. I think effects are just slightly too loud. Let me know how the levels are in chat. I think they should be... Oh, wait. Wrong button. I think they should be okay. Alright, everybody. Yeah, I was kind of expecting Gentleman to just say, alright, you know, you want to build a bunch of turrets, let me macro up, let me get more swole, but I understand that decision making too. You know, he was taking a lot of damage from the ferrets, so we wanted to see if he can go ahead and just crack that position. Alright, I think we're ready to hop into the next game here. Again, if anybody could let me know, premium bow, P-boot, my level's alright, I'd appreciate it. Alright, let's hop into the next one, guys. Spawning at the bottom, we've got the Gentleman. And his opponent to the right, Mishi. Okay, Gentleman making some significant deck changes here. Gonna go for that Fox Boar strategy. Meanwhile, Mishi just rocking the same thing. Now, I've actually thought a lot about this lately. You know, the argument, the debate between, you know, constantly switching up your deck composition to keep your opponents on their toes, or running the same thing you're comfortable with. We've seen players excel in both styles throughout the years. You know, what comes to mind to me are guys like Airlu and this guy, who just kind of say, you know what, I think I've figured out the best deck for this meta. I'm just going to keep with it, or make very, very tiny adjustments to it throughout a series. And then you've got other players, you know, guys like Tosh, for example, that like to build a whole bunch of different things. And this is what I was a little bit worried about with Mishi. And yeah, I mean, he looks like he's responding okay. He sells off a farm immediately. He builds a turret, although I kind of would have liked to see this turret defending, yeah, where he just placed that other one. Because these modern moles are not good at attacking pigs that are developed already. They really need to get in there while the pigs are still building. And Gent's actually going to go for it. He's forced a lot of turrets out of Mishi, which is a little bit nice, but both players are floating money. At the end of the day, that was kind of a no harm, no foul situation, and you know, that was the sort of thing I was a little bit worried for Mishi on coming into this bracket. You know, because the lack of, like, just pure hours of putting it in and working that ladder, is, are you going to be okay with things like pre-A farm, mole aggression? And he seemed to have handled it very nicely there. So Mishi going to follow this up with a 8 farm, 4 tier 1 style. Meanwhile, Gentleman going for about the same thing, except for with an expansion. And I actually really like this opening from Gent. You know, trying to get into that eco game, but not getting run over. Sometimes that really does call for several tier 1 Warrens before you take that mill. Especially on aggressive maps like this. And again, I do give this map advantage to Gentleman here. He's got more mills on his side of the map. He's got this nice high ground. He's even got this double high ground outside of his natural. That can be very difficult to deal with. However, Mishi doesn't care about that. And now that Mishi's got this expanded territory, he's going to start throwing down turrets. He's going to keep the pressure on with tier 1. Gentleman going to go for the crazy 1 base tier 3 here. So if Gentleman can buy some time, if he can keep Mishi from getting that deep scout that he needs to identify this tier 3 is coming, maybe the Gentleman's going to put a point on the board here. I think this is correct. You know, I think there's that knee-jerk reaction when you see defense starting to go up. You know, you want to deal with that ASAP, right? But Gentleman's being a little bit more conservative this time around. He's just building up some units, making sure he's not falling too far behind. Mishi is also building some farms on the back of this, so it's not hyper 1 base aggression, you know. Mishi is thinking about the later game. Gonna get into some expansions, and so far, yeah, the board is not scouted. Gentleman getting supply blocked here, gonna have to sell off like maybe one of those mole warrens. Yeah, that's what he opts to go for to get that boar placed. And here comes Mishi's tier 2, and Mishi thinks he's in a great spot right now. It's like, all right, I've got my contain set up, I've got a couple turrets, Gentleman can't really attack into me. I'll just get these ferrets out and win this game in a similar fashion that I won the last one. But the Big Daddy Boar is on the way. And the boar will have no problem smashing through what Mishi's brought to the table. It's a lot of tier 1 and some structures, sure, but the boar does get that bonus damage against structures, turrets included. So I think Mishi's in hot water. You know, these ferrets are not going to do well in this engagement. Gentleman's already building up the moles, getting a couple pigeons out. Here comes the boar. And Mishi not even able to slow down the economy of Gent. Yeah, this ferret harassment starts, but Mishi is not going to be happy. As long as the Gentleman doesn't overcommit, as long as he plays this right, I think he's in really good shape to take this game. The boar just roasting through everything here. And very good decision-making from the Gentleman to build this, but it is getting really low, and if Mishi can deal with this, he's got 4 farms on the back, he's got a lot of tier 1 Warrens producing more and more units. You really do need to keep this boar alive. You know, a lot of people are tempted by that boar AoE explosion, but, I mean, it's a big fat tier 3 unit, man. You want to keep it alive. Great job from the Gentleman pulling out there at the end. Mishi knew he simply took too much damage there. Taps out. 1-1. We got a series on our hands now. Very cool. I love that. And now if you're Mishi, you know, if this was the deck that you practiced to go into this event, and all of a sudden now, you know, Gent's kind of got the download, right? He's like, okay, if that's what you want to do, man, we'll just get that boar and we'll knock you out. Let's see how the players decide to shift here in game number 3. Okay, in the bottom we've got Mishi. Up in the top left, the Gentleman. Yeah, some big changes from both sides here. Mishi opting for those snakes, anticipating that boar again. However, the Gentleman's using this really wacky style that I did have the unfortunate experience of getting ran over with on the ladder. This style's really cool by the Gent. I think what he wants to do is pressure early on with these lizards to try to mask his master plan of getting a position set down with barbed wire and artillery cannon and just keeping the pressure on, and then eventually just, you know, you've got the owl for the icing on the cake, you've got that snake as kind of a little bit of a Swiss Army knife unit here, capable of doing good work against multiple tier 2 and tier 3 units. Mishi does see this attack coming in. Goes for a single farm, I mean a 6-farm single warren here. The gentleman will get 1 pig out of this. But I think that's about it. Yeah, he's gonna leave. 1 lizard for 1 pig's not bad. Keep in mind this was a 4-farm double though, not a 5-farm. So Gent's economy is a little bit behind. However, he did some good damage there. And he did force out 2 warrens from Mishi. And I like the scout from Mishi. A lot of times it is rough, you know, after this aggression, sometimes you want to just, you know, sell off your warrens, go up to 8 farms or something like that. Mishi playing it conservatively, though. Keeping both of those warrens and probably even thinking about maybe applying some counter pressure. Gentleman feels that coming in since he did decide to sell off one of those warrens for some extra farms to try to get ahead. Builds a little bit of barbed wire here. He's going to try to take these engagements with the lizards in the big open fields against the squirrels, but he simply doesn't have the numbers. He's going to have to back out for now. And Mishi's turning on the aggression. However, Gentleman does have a few tier 1 warrens here. I think he's okay. You know, these squirrels do take a long time to reinforce. This is a relatively big map here. And yeah, so the early game is over. Kind of difficult to tell who exactly is in the lead. It seems pretty similar at this point. It looks like Mishi's got a little bit more food pocketed, but not of a magnitude that is very significant, so... Nice little back and forth. This denial of the farm is actually pretty big. You know, these farms take a very long time to build. So Gentleman is going to enjoy a nice little economic advantage for a bit longer. He's going to keep continuing this up with lizards. Gonna go ahead and get into that second base, but again, I think what Gentleman really wants out of this second base is just more territory, not necessarily more economy. He's probably starting to think about setting up his defensive position here, trying to start containing Mishi and putting that pressure on. Mishi does have ferrets, which can be nice, but the ferrets can't hit the barbed wire. They can hit artillery, but that's definitely easier said than done. Especially with no flying units for Mishi to help get over this high ground advantage. You know, this map gen is really exactly what Gentleman needed for this style. You know, he's got this high ground right here. He's in range to be threatening of Mishi's main base. You know, sometimes it's a little bit awkward when you can't quite get that territory in a threatening position of your opponent when you're trying to go for something like artillery barbed wire. Because it's like, okay, sure, you built an artillery cannon, but it's not threatening me, so I'll just, you know, build up a whole bunch of farms and we'll take the game from there. Mishi going into double skunks, which is a phenomenal composition. And he's going to have the time for it. Mishi did scout the artillery. Yeah, he knows the artillery's coming. Really curious to see how he decides to deal with this. Definitely wants to sell off that turret. He's not going to need it. And is going to continue to eco for now. But is he going to fall into, I need to break this right now? Look at this balloon artillery. Such a good combo. Because that balloon will give that artillery additional range via the vision. So this is looking a little bit spicy here. I think Mishi's in a little bit of trouble. He doesn't have a whole lot in his deck. Well, he's got skunk turret, right? Which can deal with owls pretty nicely, and snakes. This isn't the best map in the world for the fox, especially when you're already contained like this. This is kind of worst case scenario for the fox. The fox really needs some breathing room to be able to kind of bob and weave on the map and try to hit exposed farms from positions you're not quite defending. And here comes Gentleman with some aggression. Gonna come in here, try to pick off a warren, maybe a farm or two. Yeah, he gets the warren, he's gonna back off. He loses a few lizards there, but still a very good engagement. And yeah, let's see where they take it. I mean, this is rough for Mishi. What exactly is the game plan? Building up a bunch of tier 2 at the moment. You know, that artillery says you don't want too much tier 1, but all the lizards say if you don't have enough tier 1, even if you have skunks, I'm just going to run you over. Mishi is enjoying a nice economic advantage. I like these couple turrets as well. Try to prevent the Gentleman from coming in and hitting that side attack. Well, actually not as ahead in economy as I first thought. You know, Gentleman does have this third base that he's been throwing a couple farms on. That's really good to kind of muddy the waters and not give Mishi complete information, even though he probably thinks he has it. Mishi's going to come in and try to start getting value with these ferrets. Does get that campfire, but one of the ferrets goes down. He's looking to see if he can find an attack path in. Yeah, now he's going to try to start hitting those artillery cannons with the ferrets, but again, easier said than done there. All the ferrets end up dying. And Mishi's going to have to go home for now. Gentleman's in a very dominant position this game. Starting to tech up into that tier 2, into that tier 3. And this is rough, man. This is really cool from the Gentleman, and this is one of those deck comps that's such a good tool to take out in a big best of 7 series, right? Because if Mishi tries to overcorrect for this line of play in the next game, you know, I would be very surprised if we saw Gentleman whip this strategy out again, you know? I really think this is a one-time build for this series. Mishi's starting to develop that third base, trying to get this into a macro game, trying to stay alive, and hey, if Mishi can actually make this work, he does have 4 bases on the side of his map. Mishi's all-inning here. His army is at a point of no return. If Gentleman really commits onto this, he's not getting the boys home. And instead, Gentleman's just going to start cleaning up these reinforcements, start harassing this third base, and another failed attack here from Mishi. He is building up to 6 ferrets, though. And once he gets up to 6 ferrets, you're starting to get the critical mass, where all these random volleys are going to start hitting more and more of Gentleman's army. He should be able to knock down this artillery, but again, just not having any flying units makes this a very difficult dance here. I really love these turrets and try to help defend against these lizard counterattacks. Not quite up in time. They do manage to come up, but not before those lizards already got some damage in. And there's a tap from Mishi, Gentleman. Pulling one out from the bag of builds here and going up 2-1. Really exciting stuff already. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out. It's always fun spending my Friday nights with you guys. Let's get into it. Game number 3 here. Wait, that was game number 3. Hang on. Hang on. I know what I'm doing, guys. I'm a professional streamer. Okay, game number 4. Spawning on the right, we've got Mishi. Opponent to left, the Gentleman. Yeah, Gentleman kind of reverting back to a similar composition to what we saw in game 2. Meanwhile, Mishi just really likes this ferret turret playstyle. He's kind of switching it up a bit here and there. You know, getting those chameleons in. Getting the moles in rather than the lizards. I think that's a good call from Mishi. He's kind of figured out, alright, Gent's running toads. He's running barbed wire. These are all things that my lizards are just not good for. And the badger as well for Mishi. A little bit of mole aggression here from the Gentleman. But this will be a little bit of a tempo play to deny some of these farms. I actually kind of like selling off one of these building farms preemptively to the mole and just going ahead. Ooh, losing some damage there. That's actually kind of a big deal. Gentleman gonna pack it up and go home. But yeah, like I actually kind of like when you see the mole warren building there, going ahead and like selling this farm, you know, for that back one where the moles can't reach, to try to minimize that tempo hit to your economy. The Gentleman just gonna follow this up with a straight gristmill here. And this is another one of those instances where I think it just shows, you know, Mishi's not super practiced in the modern meta, because this kind of like 8 farm straight into a gristmill is very easily punished by moles. You know, if Mishi saw that mill building when he did, threw down some moles right there, he could have put Gentleman in some hot water for a minute. It doesn't have to do it. Both these players kind of macro players. I think Mishi more so. Mishi's pretty interesting because he likes to macro while keeping the pressure on. You know, it's a really interesting balance of styles. Ooh, Gentleman showing a building farm there, but gonna fake out, and he's gonna come in. and try to punish Mishi for the greed. He knows Mishi likes to go straight up to 2 farms right off that initial mill, and he's only got a couple squirrels here. He doesn't have the moles building. Sells off 1 more, and he needs to build some moles, trying to get some more squirrels out. But those moles, you know, that 10-second advantage is enormous in situations like this. He is going to get a crisis turret up and running, but it's not going to quite get up in time, and this just might be a quick, bloody punch to the nose here from the gentleman. Yeah, this is just too much damage. Mishi knows that he's going to tap out. The gentleman with some very no-nonsense play with a little bit of mind games thrown in there, making Mishi think he's, oh yeah, I'm just gonna take some farms too, man. Everything's cool. Steals a quick victory there. All right, let's see if Mishi can hold the door in game number 5. Spawning on the right, we've got Mishi. And his opponent to left, the gentleman. The gentleman again reaching into that bag of builds and pulling out this lizard defense. It's kind of like Pile 2.0. You know, for any of you old school tooth and tail nerds here. You know, he's got a little bit of that pile build going on, but he's not going too crazy on the defense. You know, throwing in the snake, which I think is a smart call. It can help answer a lot of various things. And then you've got that owl there for late game transitions. But in general, this deck kind of follows the same manual, the same instruction manual as the old school pile style. You know, get out a whole bunch of lizards, start pressuring your opponent, use that map advantage that you gain from keeping your opponent on the defense to grab a containment scenario, a proxy mill, start building up those defensive structures, and try to start checkmating your opponent. Mishi with a 7 farm war in here just wants to be a little bit careful. But, you know, Michi's got some good tools to fight back against this. He's got Squirrel Mole, which is just phenomenal in the early game. And if Gentleman starts getting a little bit too cheeky with this proxy defensive play, you know, Mishi can try to match that with some nearby territory. Yeah, there we go. This is what I was talking about, building that mole to try to punish this mill, although Gentleman does have some tier 1 units out this time. But Mishi's got turrets, which I think can help slow this build down. I think what Gentleman is going for here kind of operates a little bit on thin margins. You know, you really need things to go right as planned, or it can really start falling apart. And this is some really smart play from Mishi. He's denying this mill. Yeah, he's going to get 60 food for free. But the big point is that the Gentleman's losing a lot of momentum with what he wants to do. You know, Gentleman wants to set up a proxy position with some wire, get the artillery up, and start really being oppressive. And he's not going to be able to do that this game. And Mishi is even showing a little bit of proxy aggression. He's going to be able to get out some turrets up here on the side ground. But the question is, how far is he going to push the envelope? You know, Squirrel Mole versus Pure Lizard. I think it really comes down to numbers. I think it can go either way. We're going to see some pretty even trades for the most part so far, but the Gentleman does get that advantage of lizards being swift units, can reach the front lines very, very quickly. However, doesn't quite have enough to break this. And now Mishi can just start rebuilding, start reproducing this army, and once he has the extra 60 food to spare, you know, throwing down a turret in a little bit of a threatening position can be a very, very big deal. Gentleman's coming in for round 2. We've got a pretty even amount of tier 1 here. Gentleman thinking about abusing the mobility of these lizards. Lizards get on top of these moles very quickly. I think that's kind of what Mishi wants. He wants those moles up front to tank for the damage dealers in the back, the squirrels. And yeah, one mole warren does go down there. But Mishi takes a very, very more favorable engagement there. He's going to follow it up with a counter push. Very nice. However, these lizards do get an advantage against squirrels in big open fights like this. And Gentleman, with the defender's advantage, is going to be able to clean this up no problem. I think Mishi might have needed some moles there to help buffer on the front lines against these lizards. but wanted to try to apply that counter pressure ASAP. Ooh, I would have loved that farm. I do understand why Mishi sold it. Like, it was very risky, but if he got away with that, you know, I think that's like a 12% increase in income. You know, if he can hold the line here and keep this farm up, that's going to be huge, especially as we approach this 5-minute mark. Gentleman coming in again. Mishi trying to pull back a little bit to these Warrens, but he does have to be careful about pulling back too much. It's often a little bit frowned upon in Tooth and Tail. I think he did good stutter stepping there, but the Lizards being able to hop on top of everything. Again, it was kind of even Lizards versus even Squirrels this time around, though. The Squirrels did not have those defensive Warrens to help tank some shots, and that's going to be it, you guys. Gentlemen, with the 4-1. Taking the quick series here. Very cool. Alright, that means we are going to hop into Jet Erickson versus Melvin Fro next. Let me do a little bit of a little bit of this and that. And don't forget, everybody, we've also got the Viejo Qualnes tournament going on. I'm going to cast some of those games tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST, 2 hours before this stream started, if you're one of our players all around the world. And keep sending me replays. I think I'm going to start picking up this tournament duty stuff on other nights so I can get back to the feast on Friday nights. But give me about a 1-minute break, guys, and we will hop into match number 2. So don't go anywhere. Be back in just a minute. Alright, we are back, and we are going to hop into match number 2 here with Jet Erickson and Melvin Fro. Let's get into it. Okay, spawning in the bottom, we've got Jet Erickson. His opponent to the right, Melvin Fro. Both players really leaning on this Ferret Fox strategy here. Really cool to see. Not a mole in sight. And Melvin Fro a little bit greedy with his deck composition. Only one tier 1 unit here, the Squirrel. But if you are going to only have one tier 1, that is often the choice. Instead opting to fit in 3 tier 2 and 2 tier 3. Meanwhile, Jet Erickson's kind of got that more standard composition of 2 tier 1, 2 tier 2, and tier 3 in a defense. He's got some cams here as well. And, you know, this is a little bit kind of like Spitball 2.0, I think. You know, he's still got the Squizzard in here to try to make some room for himself on the map in the early game. But really what Jet Erickson wants to do is set up a threatening balloon, get some ferrets to start sieging from it. And hell, if he has to, he can throw in some chameleons if he needs some more beefiness. And he's always got that fox for the late game. This is a crazy map, though. The rush distance is very, very small, which changes a lot, you know. You can't quite get away with the 8-farm double into a tier 2 here. You know, for example, your opponent could really pressure that with a whole bunch of tier 1. You gotta be careful about how you're expanding. There's also these couple bases up top that I'm really interested in. You know, we might opt to see these players try to take those, you know, both to not have an expansion that's very threatened by their opponents, and also just to be a little bit sneaky. You know, throw some things in a spot where your opponent might not be expecting them, and they start getting misinformation about the state of the game. Here comes Jet with that tier 2. Yeah, he goes for 3 tier 1 Warrens before that tier 2. I think that's very safe in the modern meta. You know, a lot of these rules we used to operate on just are very, very changed with the modern moles. You know, trying to do things like the 8-farm double into an expansion, into a farm or 2, or 8-farm double straight into a tier 2, you can get punished for it. And Jet scouted out that Melvin was going for tier 2. He wants to stay one step ahead. Going for double tier 2 here. I really, really like that he's going for these chameleons before the ferrets. You know, he needs a buffer out on the map. He needs to kind of get in there and put his opponent in a little bit of a headlock before transitioning to these ferrets. And as I say that, he does decide, all right, I'll just go single cam into ferrets. And Jet's actually been really buying and selling a lot of Warrens here. A little bit of a slight tempo hit, probably kind of negligible. But you can see him really trying to refine this opening build order. Opening build order is very, very important in Tooth and Tail. And Melvin's just going to go for it. He's got these ferrets, which traditionally we like to say, you know, don't trade as well pound for pound in big direct matches. Oh, Jet needs to be careful. These chameleons uncloaked. I think that might have been the new decloak mechanism from Melvin Fro's commander standing still there. Either that or Jet let go of the button for a second and they came out of the shadows and tried to start attacking. But Melvin Fro decides to back it off. Neither of those chameleons died for Jet. That would have been a very big deal. And now we're going to get into some funny ferret dances here. Basically, both ferrets have to land a shot on the other guy's ferret for them to die. So, you know, you take a pop shot here or there, you're generally okay. Ooh, Melvin Fro with the big plays here. You're going to get that boar down. And I actually do kind of like it because getting those big, deep scouts on your opponent's base is very difficult to do in these ferret dancey situations. You know, all your micro is really up here on these front lines controlling these units. Melvin thinks he's got a window, he's going to move in, does knock out one of those ferrets. However, keep in mind, Melvin does have a lot of money invested into that boar right now. Jet's going to move in with a lot of tier 1 here, push Melvin back, takes a lot of skunk gas damage though. And is going to start trying to retreat back to his territories, let these units start healing up. One of his ferrets goes down again. No, I'm sorry, he didn't. I could have sworn that was a tier 2 unit dying. Maybe I'm just missing that there. And again, these ferret dances going on. P-Boop with the knowledge in chat saying 2 ferret shots leave the opponent's ferret at 1 HP. So this is kind of cool. You know, nothing's really getting done here, but it is taking a lot of micro resources from both sides. And we have hit that 5-minute mark. Jet is been trying to maintain this campfire. He did lose it once, but he gets it up and running again. And here comes this boar, though. And Jet is just not ready for this. We might see an instant tap. He's starting to feel like something might be a little bit spicy. He's getting this balloon down. But here comes this boar, and I don't know if Jet's going to be able to handle it. He's going to shove his units in, but this boar just roasting everything. That's going to be a tap. And Melvin Fro with the smart decision making there to get that quick boar down. Manages to take game number 1. Oh man, my mouse is messing things up. Okay, let's go into game number 2. Spawning on the right, we've got Melvin Fro. His opponent to left, Jet Erickson. Jet deciding to drop the ferrets and cams this time around for Falcon Snake. Gonna do a little bit better against counter ferrets, perhaps. Meanwhile, Melvin changing things up a little bit here. He's still got some of that same core. No, actually, is this the same deck? Oh man, I'm so bad. I think this is the same comp. I'm not sure about the owl. This might just straight up be the same deck for Melvin. I have the short-term memory of a goldfish, you guys. So, drop the fox for the owl. Yeah. I feel like the owl was new. I feel like he had a different tier 3. Maybe it was a fox. Thank you guys in chat for being more diligent than me. Jet with a 5-farm double. Melvin did scout it. Gonna go for a 6-farm double. These are squirrels, which I'm kind of interested why he went squirrels. You know, I think if you're going 5-farm double, you have access to lizards. Might as well build those lizards. They're gonna get there just a little bit faster. It only takes 2 lizards to kill a pig. And yeah, with these squirrels taking so long to get to the other side of the map, Melvin's got his own squirrels up. And Jet's just gonna have to run home. So I think this would have worked for Jet if he went lizards, but decided with the squirrels instead. Maybe thinking about counter-aggression. And this puts Melvin in a slightly better spot. Not by a whole lot. You know, Melvin did enjoy sneaking out that 1 extra farm. But we're pretty stabilized from here, right? No harm, no foul. Neither side really lost anything. You know, maybe super slight advantage to Melvin based on farm timings. And Jet's just going to follow this up with a quick mill, keeping those tier 1 numbers nice and healthy. You know, Melvin Fro's one of these guys that I'm really impressed with lately. You know, he was kind of like a mid-tier player for a long time. You know, a guy you meet on the ladder, you know, at least at my level of play. All right, I'd win one, I'd lose one, you know. But for the past couple months, I mean, Melvin really planting his flag as a top tier competitor. You know, doing really good in events and continuing to show very good games. So definitely a guy to keep your eye on these days. Going for that double tier 2. And Jet's building up some snakes. Snakes can be very good against both ferrets and skunks, but it's very micro-dependent. What's really abusive about the snake is once you've got that first tag on the enemy unit, you've basically got that unit, right? Because it's going to get slowed down from the poison, and 9 times out of 10, you get 2 stacks of poison on the unit. You know, that's going to kill it, so. There has been a slight poison change, you know, not super recently, but like 1 or 2 patches ago. Where the snake, where the poison kind of wears off in your own territory a little bit faster than it used to. So maybe that'll come into play. But yeah, I think Jet's perfectly fine to try to push back these ferrets with the snake as long as he controls correctly. I like Squizzard against skunks. The lizards can get up on those skunks, knock them out very quickly. And losing tier 2 units is such a big hit to tempo because it takes additional time for them to get out. And here we go! Jet's gonna try to position Melvin up front, chasing that snake, but this engagement's actually starting to go really nicely for Melvin. Gonna lose a skunk here, but his snake went down. Ooh, if the snake gets that other skunk, that is absolutely huge. No, he ends up targeting the mill instead. He's not gonna get quite enough stacks of poison on that mill to kill it. He's gonna lose the snake right here as well. Jet's in hot water now. Yeah, I think the lizards are a good play. Lizards are good against all these tier 2 here. Really, I think lizards are great against all the tier 2 but the chameleons. And this is dicey. Melvin's got an advantage. He took that first trade very well. Again, Jet's going to try to come out, be fancy with the snake. It does end up living. And here come the lizards to try to clean up this very, very big tier 2 base army. Oh man, if that's Jet really needed that snake to live there. Dying to that little bit of skunk gas. is absolutely huge. I thought Jet was about to run over Melvin. Melvin was so much tier 2. Doesn't have a whole lot, you know, to be on the front line to tank. But he is getting the squirrel count back up and running. You know, getting up to 12 squirrels here. This army just looks very dangerous. If Jet can possibly hold on, maybe he can sneak out some farms here or there, try to get back into this game. But Melvin's like, no, man, I'm not going to give you that chance. I'm going to come in. I'm going to win the game right here, right now. 2 stacks of poison on that skunk. Is that going to be enough to kill? It looks like the skunk... Oh, man, it's going to live at 1 HP. But here come all these lizards. These lizards very, very good at dealing with all these tier 2 units. Jet is going to clean this all up. And that is an enormous hit. The big problem with a lot of tier 2 like this in this phase of the game is that they're not going to build very, very fast, right? So he's got to sell off those ferrets immediately. And Jet is actually being a little bit hesitant. He wants to be careful. He knows he's behind. But all these tier 2 units just take so long to build. Melvin doesn't have anything here for the counter defense. And Jet's going to tie things up. Is it 1-1? Have we only seen 2 games? Is that game number 2? Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys. Why am I the worst? That was game number 2, right? Yeah, that was game number 2. Okay, I'm not crazy. I just thought I was crazy for a moment. Okay, okay, so where we're supposed to be. It wears off even outside the territory now. That's the change. Oh, thank you, Eel. Good to see you too, by the way, man. We got a lot of people hanging out here, so thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Keep in mind, Jet Erickson's custom map tournament, Vyushal Qualnes, is still going on. And I will be casting some games from that tomorrow at 4 p.m. EST. Keep your eyes on the Discord for that. And keep sending me replays, ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. We're going to get back to doing Friday night replay casting, aka the Feast, and I'll move some of these tournament events around to other dates. Jet dunking on me for not pronouncing the Jit correctly. It's understandable. I am the worst. Alright, let's get into game number 3, guys. Okay, on the right we've got Melvin Fro. His opponent to the left, Jet Erickson. Rocking those mines this time. You know, mines are in this position that are kind of interesting, where they got a nerf. And we always see this happen. This happens every single time in Tooth and Tail, man. It happens in other games too. You see it in StarCraft and stuff like that as well, where something will get a nerf and it will just like go out of the meta completely. You know, even if it's a very small nerf. The changes to the mines were quite significant, don't get me wrong. And rightfully so. You know, metas were very, very much defined by those mines earlier on. And, you know, me personally, I didn't think it was the most enjoyable play style to have to deal with. But, you know, mines are still good, and I often say the best mine is the first mine, you know, when your opponent's not expecting it. And mines might be back in this position. You know, that you used to not be able to say that in the previous meta, because you almost always expected mines, right? Because it was just such a meta unit to use. A little bit of shenanigans here, by the way, in this early game. 5-farm double from Jet, gets scouted from Melvin, who responded with the 6-farm double. Jet's going to move in. He should be able to, this time around, using those lizards. Come in here and knock out that corner pig. 2 lizards gets that job done just fine. But yeah, so it's like one of the... Ooh, getting a little bit greedy here. Yeah, that was a bit greedy. Tried to go for that other pig. He could have got away with it if Melvin didn't respond exactly right, but he did. So still a successful rush there from Jet, but I'm sure me and Jet could agree he would have liked it better if he got the pig, got out scot-free. But anyways, you know, mines are back in this position that they were before the previous patch, where, you know, they're one of these units that you're not always expecting. So those first couple mines can be really impactful. Yeah, you can use that commander vision reveal to scout out those invisible units, but it requires you to keep your commander standing still for, I think, 1 second, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it actually kind of is. And it also only works on the adjacent tiles to you. So I'm curious, you know. I'm curious if these mines will be a deciding factor here. So far, a lot of Tier 1 this game against, again, both players very aware of the other's capability to sniff out an attack window and just punish completely. And I'm a little bit questioning this attack from Melvin. I do think Squizzard will beat straight up Squirrel in even numbers in an open field. Yeah, Melvin kind of agrees, backs out for now. And where's the Tier 2? Oh, Melvin! Oh man, sign my mouse pad. Dude, one base Tier 3 with no defense. This is very difficult to pull off. You know, if you get scouted, that's basically checkmate. You know, a guy like Jet Erickson knows what to do if he scouts an opponent building a one base Tier 3. But this is such a nice, you know, the RNG gods, Andy Schatz himself, you know, on this map is looking at Melvin. I was just like, hey man, look at that spot. You know you want to do it. You know you want to put that Tier 3 right there. I know you want to use a Tier 3, man. You got 3 in your deck. Melvin getting a nice deep scout, looking for maybe a secret Tier 3 of his opponents. But again, Jet, man, not seeing a Tier 3. We've seen this be very impactful already tonight. We saw the game with the Gentleman, where this Tier 3 came out and just started busting. And to be fair, you know, to Jet, like, you can't scout this. You know, if Melvin keeps his unit, like, you literally can't get your commander back there. It's impossible. These squirrels will kill you, as we just saw. There's no, like, backdoor entrance where you can come in and try to get it that way or something. Hey, Elliot, in the chat, man. Welcome to the scene. Yeah, man, I really recommend checking out the Discord. That can definitely be a big help if you're not part of it already. And here we go, Melvin. Both players actually building up to some expansions here. These snakes are out for Jet, but actually getting the micro shots on these boards, these mines come off. They weaken up the army from Jet. Or I'm sorry, for Melvin. These lizards trying to come in. These snakes hard committing on the board. They get 5 stacks of poison. Is it going to be enough, though? Oh, with these squirrels attacking it at will, it might actually be. And Jet holds it off. However, this is not the end of the world for Melvin. He did very good in that engagement. Basically traded tit for tat there. And he's got more farms on the back end of this. Jet's got that fox building, though, which gets me hyped. And you know, Melvin does save up for another boar, but with these army compositions, you know, on paper, this fox should be able to take Jet to the win here. I am a little bit worried about the disparity in the economy, though. Jet is aware that he is a bit behind in farms, but he's hoping that he can do some nice pressure with this fox. He just wants to invest in as much Tier 1 as possible to help back that up. Yeah, man, I am super, I'm super excited for this. Jet with the fox, very good fox player here. Don't disappoint me, man. Let's see it. Let's see some value. Hashtag value train. Hashtag hash brown. Here we go. A couple squirrels already going down. Jet taking a couple hits on this fox. He needs to be careful. He might have been trying to bait the enemy into the mines, but actually I'm kind of worried now. The boar is back out. Jet needs to heal this fox up ASAP. Maybe utilize some of the water healing. Because if this fox starts taking some flamethrower damage, you know, it could go down in an instant. Very low HP pool here on the fox. So Jet does need to be careful. Building up more and more units. I wouldn't hate to see even more mines here on this choke. Like, if this game goes long, if Jet could just hold that choke right there, he's got plenty of mills behind it. Here we go, big engagement going on. Jet's going to keep his fox over to the side, kind of sacrifice the rest of his army. That boar will go down, but Melvin's got so many squirrels left over. Jet's going to sell these farms desperately. The mines help slow down this attack from Melvin. And again, Jet is starting to play very, very well here, but I'm worried about the numbers. You know, Melvin might just end up Zap Brannigan his opponent here, just throwing units at Jet Erickson until he just eventually goes down. 7 HP on this fox, man. He's giving me an ulcer. Oh no, Melvin's got his own fox here. He's moving in. He's gonna get the shot down. 1 HP on the opponent's fox, but damn. Melvin! I didn't even notice that Fox building. Certainly Jet didn't. Oh boy. Yeah, game over most likely. Let's see if Jet can pull a rabbit out of the hat here. Yeah, that was rough, man. And I understand it too, because it takes time, you know. Even with the added water healing, like, alright, if you're gonna invest time into healing your Kasha back up, that's squirrels that you're not killing, so Jet decided, you know, I'm gonna play a little bit risky. My opponent doesn't have snakes, he doesn't have anything that can just straight up kill my Kasha. So I'm gonna get in there, even if it's like half HP and keep it going, but the enemy Fox hitting yours leaves yours at 1 HP. Jet going down there. Melvin taking the advantage this series. That was awesome. That was a great game. All right, let's keep the hype train moving. Game number 4. In the bottom, we've got Melvin, his opponent. Up top, or to the right, Jet Erickson. All right, Melvin with a few adjustments, right? Getting those toads in there. And not sure what else. What else changed? I think he had a tier 2 he doesn't have now. Maybe, or maybe he had toads last. I think he built the toads because he saw so many lizards from Jet. Man, that last game was super action-packed. Very well played from both sides. And I really like that Jet's, you know, mixing up this early game. A lot of aggression. You know, we've seen a lot of pre-8 farm stuff tonight in both series, and Jet with a pretty radical deck change here. I wonder if we can get this artillery cannon down. This map does look better for Melvin. But that'd be so funny if Jet wound up with an artillery like right here, you know? Just like on the edge, starts moving his units in. You just can't get to this artillery. You start poking down at these bases. That could be a really cool line of play. You should get an emote for every unit. That would be cool, man. Yeah, I really don't know how Twitch emotes work. I think I do have access to, like, more than I'm using. I don't know, you know? I think it's cool you can use the emotes for the channel points. You know, subs are always appreciated, of course, but I just do this for fun, man. I'm not really expecting any donations or anything. So it hasn't really been a big focus for me on this channel. Melvin getting into some pretty quick extra farms here. Jet going for tier 2. He did scout the double farms. He scouted at least one. Gonna get his skunks going. I like the skunk play a lot. You know, skunk, pigeon, squirrel can really start pressuring this early game, especially if Melvin is trying to rely on a lot of tier 1 to you know, try to get some greed out on the back end of. So yeah, Jet going pretty crazy on the farms here. Meanwhile, Melvin Fro is as well. So it looks like we're building up to a big fat macro game here. Let's see how it progresses from this position. Both players going to fully saturate up these second bases. And really what I'm curious about is, are we going to see a tier 3 go down? Are we going to see a third base? Are we going to see a bunch of tier 1 and tier 2 come out for a big push? So far, just a little bit of extra tier 2 from Jet. Yeah, Premium Bo's got it in the chat. I'm not the creator. I am just a die-hard nerd Andy Schatz and Pocketwatch Games are the creators of Tooth and Tail. I met Andy Schatz a few years ago at TwitchCon. Really, really cool guy, man. I helped work the booth there. We went out for some drinks and dinner and stuff. Really cool guy. Really appreciates all the hard work we do. Not just me, of course, but everybody else in the scene, you know. Big shout out for sure for everybody behind the scenes, man. It is so much work, you know. My content is only as good as the replays I get, or the event organizers, or mods, or people that participate in stuff like this. So that's kind of the spirit of this channel, is to showcase the events and stuff going on in the scene. He is a really good caster, man. It's been a while since I've cast with Andy. We used to do it a lot. I know he's hard at work on his latest games, but maybe I'll hit him up. It would be fun if I got a Andy Schatz cast going on again. So yeah, we see a bunch of tier 3 going down. Jet Erickson already getting this artillery cannon set up in that spot I was talking about earlier, but Melvin Pro scouted it and he's gonna shut it down. That is absolutely huge. 180 food down the drain here for Jet. He's building up to some owls. Like, Jet's getting a good composition put together, but to be honest, I kind of like Melvin's more. You know, he's got his own owls. He's got this boar. He's gonna come in through the back door here from Jet. Uh-oh. This might be checkmate. Does Jet have enough right here, right now to deal with this? He doesn't. Oh, I thought he was starting to base race. He looks like he got hip to what was going on a little bit too late. He's only got one owl on the field. All these falcons in the air. Melvin Pro pushing Jet back. That boar will go down, but does Melvin have enough left over? These squirrels and falcons doing a lot of work, but his commander is going to go down. That is absolutely huge. Let's see if Jet can take advantage of that, start cleaning up these units while they're not being microed. Melvin starts moving his units back, and that's always what is so rough about playing against snakes, man. It's very, very easy to underestimate the poison stacks going onto your commander. So that was a little bit of the saving grace for Jet there. He's in a really good spot to start counterattacking. This boar is not going to be up for another 40 seconds or so. Jet's moving in. He's got both of his tier 3 here. He's got several tier 2 on the ground as well, shutting down that third base. Lots of falcons in the sky, though. Can Jet push through that and keep his owls alive? He doesn't think he can. He's going to go ahead and retreat for now. This is actually kind of interesting because it's like Jet's units are slowed down by the water, sped up by the road, where the falcons, you know, aren't affected by either one. So I was curious if he'd be able to chase them all the way back, but didn't look like it. Here we go. Jet feels confident. He feels like he's got the advantage. He's going to move in and try to repay the favor, try to deal some damage back to Melvin. Some of these falcons starting to get poisoned, starting to fall, but this boar has hit the board again. Melvin bought enough time for the big daddy with the flamethrower here. And let's see if Jet can make it happen. He's microing his units back. He's trying to not take too much damage from this boar. He's got some snakes, though. If he can get those snake stacks on the board, maybe it will help. And the boar does eventually go down, but Jet just doesn't have any units left that can hit these falcons. 5 falcons standing strong in the air are going to start chasing this down. Actually doesn't manage to pick up that skunk there. That would have been a really big deal. I love this part of the game where you've got to sell things off. Let's see what Melvin decides to go for. Gonna keep to only the owl and instead really try to bolster back up with all these falcons. But Jet's got 13 squirrels here. If he target fires down, you know, these falcons don't have enough to buffer on the front line. And this might be it. This might be victory for Jet. Just too many squirrels here. These falcons doing a lot of burst damage, especially when you get a big group up like this. But just kind of lacking on the tier 1, and these bread and butter, these squirrel units are going to come in here and get the job done, and Melvin's just going to have to tap. 2-2. He lost when his commander died, says Solomon. Yeah, I think so too, man. That commander deck, or commander death rather, was absolutely huge. All right, 2-2, man. Close match. Let's see what happens in game number 5 here. All right, spawning in the bottom, we've got Jet Erickson. And his opponent up top, Melvin Fro. Melvin Fro keeping this composition, you know. Little bits of changes here and there, but Squirrel Falcon Triple Tier 3 seems to be the name of the game for Melvin. And Triple Tier 3 is crazy, even by modern standards. Maybe not by Big Pip and Tosh standards, you know? Maybe Tosh would look at Melvin's deck and be like, yeah, that's totally fine, that's totally normal. But you know, nowadays we do see Tier 2, double Tier 3 builds fairly often. You know, stuff like Owl Boar, Owl Fox, you know, Wolf Fox, Wolf Badger, really Wolf plus any other Tier 3. Maybe not Boar, I guess. But 3 Tier 3 to me is pushing it a little bit. Jets again got this artillery cannon. Didn't really come into play too much last game. But with Melvin leaning on these Falcons so hard, you know, and one thing about this really Falcon-heavy style for Melvin is that the Skunks might be a really good counter to that. Right? You know, Falcons need a good bruiser line up front. And if you got the Skunks down to eliminate all your opponent's Squirrels, all of a sudden those Falcons are exposed. And they get blapped upon real quick. Let's see how these guys want to progress here. Bad map here for Jet. I will say that. You know, there's not a lot of times I say bad map because Andy did write into the algorithm to basically give you a natural most of the time. But here Jet doesn't have a natural. And without that easy access to an expansion, that really limits your options in the game. You know, quick expansion builds, economic openings are a very big part of the meta. So Jet's, you know, trying to turn lemons into lemonade here. You know, he's got to spread out, and this might work for Jet if he manages to really control this high ground area. That's going to be difficult to do, though. Oh, man, I would love to see Artie on that, like, double high ground right there. You know what I'm saying? Could we get behind that? But Jet is really spread out here. You know, Melvin doesn't have anything like lizards or moles to really try to abuse that and put some salt into the wound. But this will still be difficult for Jet, unless Melvin just gives him a whole lot of breathing room. In that case, you know, this will stabilize, and it'll be like, well, Melvin's got 3 bases, Jet's got 3 bases. Oh, actually, there's an entrance. It doesn't look like it, but if you look at the mini-map, you can walk over that little tiny rock right there and get to this area. So that's not so bad. I mean, Jet could have opted to take this back base, I guess. Yeah, here comes that Artie on that little ledge I was talking about. I love to see it. This is a really interesting Artie position too, right? Like, it's not too far away where you can't ignore it, but it's not so close where you're just straight up shelling your opponent's base. And Melvin's like, fine, man, you're gonna commit to 180 food and an artillery cannon. I'm just gonna walk into your base and fight you where that artillery cannon isn't. And Jet's gonna take this engagement. He's got 4 Skunks here, but all of his Squirrels have gotten cleaned up, and the rest of these Skunks are about to go down. Jet is in some hot water. He does actually manage to clean up 3 of the tier 2 of his opponent. And this artillery cannon is down. Can Jet actually defend it, though? It looks like he is getting enough Squirrel rallies to be fine for now. And this is rough for Melvin. Actually, dude, I always underestimate artillery range. Like, if Jet's giving vision to the cannon, it looked like it actually would shell on that mill right there. Wish granted, Jet. Delthius says Jet. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's like right out of range, but I could have sworn it looked like a shell fired right there. Alright, lots of falcons coming down from Melvin. I do like this. Maybe even a boar might not be a bad idea. You know, really heavy skunk. He needs like a heavy tier 2 base army with like the right tier 3 on top of it to break this position. And Jet just wants to try to bait his opponent in. You know, hey, I'm gonna harass you with these skunks, and if you move in and try to deny them, then you're gonna get shelled by my artillery cannon here. Snakes on the way for Jet, help try to buffer against those falcons. Alright, Premium Bow, is it in range, including the extra vision? I don't think so, because Jet's got vision on it. Yeah, I think it's just barely out of range. It looks like damn close, though. It's probably like one tile too far away. Big engagement here. Melvin gonna try to break this position. And with all these falcons in the air, looks like he's gonna get the job done. But at what cost is the question. All of this tier 2 going down. Jet with one snake left with a whole bunch of tier 1. I'd love to see Jet maybe sell off the skunks or something like that just to keep as much food flowing into these squirrels as possible. He's gonna deny this second base, which is a big deal. Melvin invested a couple farms into that. And again, we see Melvin with all that tier 2 really taking its sweet time to get back on the board. He had to sell off those skunks. I'd love to see Jet do the same. Looks like he's on his way to do that now. And yeah, just rail into as many squirrels as possible. And this is looking pretty good for Jet, man. Melvin is starving. We passed that 5-minute mark a long time ago. These main bases are no longer farming. And with Jet knocking out that base of his opponents at second base, you know, Melvin's got no economy anymore. He's got to win the game right here, right now. But does he have enough firepower? Maybe with some good micro. Maybe if he can keep these falcons alive. But Jet trying to tag these falcons down as quickly as possible. And I think that's just going to be it. Melvin's going to have to tap out. And we're going to see Jet advance up 3-2 in this series. I don't see what's going on in the chat, but thank you, moderators. I assume you're doing your job well, so I really appreciate it. We don't normally get a lot of trolls or jerks or anything in this chat, you know. One thing about the Tooth and Tail communities, everybody's pretty chill for the most part. So you don't get that opportunity to wield that band hammer often, so. Oh, nice. Oh, that's funny. Oh, jeez. Alright, guys. Game number 6. Let's get into it. Spawning on the bottom, we've got Jet Erickson. Ooh, whipping out the classic Spitball this time around. Up top, we got Melvin Fro. Is it Spitball or Spitfire? I think it's Spitball, right? Spitball Fire. Spitball, yeah. I thought it was Spitball. Spitfire is a cool name, too. I used to be a skater when I was a teenager. Oh, God, I forgot all about that. I had Spitfire. I think those were the brand of the bearings I used on my skateboard, man. Dude, I was all about it. We used to, like, build ramps, you know, in our parents' driveways. Like, go trespass places and grind on stuff. I used to go to Kona a lot. I think that's actually the oldest skate park in America. 4-farm double by Melvin. You guys don't want to hear me talking about Delthius as a teenager. We got a 4-farm double here. That's way more important. Jet trying to hold this with a 6-farm single. Building these moles on the back as well. Gonna have to sell a farm and lose a little bit there. Melvin gonna take some ooh, doesn't actually get that other farm. Very nice job from Jet defending. No, he does come back in. He does manage to get that farm. Kill off that mole. Oh, you still got your board, buddy? That's awesome, dude. What did I have? I'm trying to remember. I had a flip board. I remember I was a big fan of flip because I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skaters, right? I was born, I'm 31, you know, I grew up in the early 2000s, so, yeah, I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. My favorite character was Rune Glifberg, and he used Flip, so I used Flip. More aggression here from Melvin. Again, doesn't quite sell that farm off on time. Lose a little bit of farm there, but still good reaction from Jet. Gonna thwart this back from the time being. Keep in mind, Melvin is sacrificing a little bit of economy as well to do this, but overall, Melvin taking the advantage here in the early game. Gonna go ahead and get up to that 8 farms a little bit faster. Jet taking a couple punches, you know, putting Melvin ahead, but Jet really can't afford to have these farms denied again. I think that's the big story right here, right now. You know, Jet's got to put his foot down and say, no, man, you're not making me cancel farms for a 3rd time. Yeah, I was never crazy good or anything, right? Like, I could ollie. I could do the board grind, right? Where you'd, like, it's hard to explain, I guess. Like, you jump on the board and grind perpendicular. I couldn't do the 50-50 grind, though, where you grind it on the trunks. That was too high level for me. I could do a kick flip. I could do a heel flip. I could, like, drop down ramps and stuff like that. That was about it. I actually really like longboarding, to be honest, over skateboarding. I used to longboard in college as well because the campus is so large, you know. You park in the parking lot that's like half a mile away from your class. You just hop on the longboard and get going. Yeah, Jet is definitely behind here. Melvin trying to decide how he wants to use his advantage. Looks like he just wants to hold off for a couple more minutes. Throw down that boar and end the game. Jet should be able to scout this boar, though. There it is. All right, so he knows what's coming. However, he doesn't have a lot of anti-boar repellent spray in his deck. He's got balloons, and that's about it. But what is nice is this attack path right here is probably the only one. I guess in theory, Melvin could walk all the way around like that. But no, Jet's just going to say, no, man, and go ahead and invest that 360 food into the boar. I'm just going to kill you right here with moles. I don't know if it's going to work, though. Melvin has a lot of squirrels here. Jet's going to come in with the tier 1, though. All these Squizzards moles combined is just shredding through. And these moles really dealing that extra damage to those Warrens, preventing Melvin from being able to reinforce at a reasonable rate. Means Jet is just going to keep going, keep dealing more and more damage. A couple farms go down, a lot of Warrens go down, and Melvin ends up having to sell the board just to hold on. Really good decision making here from Jet. Deciding he's done enough damage and packs it up, or no, he's just kind of coming back, just gonna wait for a second. Yeah, I kind of agree, chat. If Melvin kept that boar, then that boar would have came out in time and he could have counterattacked. But you know, it's easy for us to say with omnipotent vision. You know, Melvin thought he was probably about to lose, wanted to get out as many units as possible. And Jet actually just wants to transition. I don't know if this is right from Jet, though. You know, Melvin is very crippled here, but if he can somehow finance this boar, pilot it correctly, maybe he just busts through what Jet has. You know, this ferret's not going to help out a whole lot. And Jet doesn't know the boar is back on the way. He probably wouldn't expect it with such a low economy. He's going to see the boar here and think to himself, like, really? Really, bro? He's going to come in with superior numbers. He's got 20 tier 1 to 12 of his opponent. He's going to start shelling with the ferrets, but I don't know if this is the right line of play, man. I think Jet's just got to slam in there. Every second he waits is one more second to where this boar might actually hit the field. And here comes a big engagement, and I think this is just a victory here for Jet Erickson, which is going to be a 4-2 win in the series. Yeah, he's going to come up and he's going to deny the boar seconds before it gets out. Oh my god, like literally a second before it hit the field. Even if it got out, though, Jet's just got too much. We would have been able to deal with it anyways. very cool. So that's a 4-2 victory here for Jets. We're going to go into QQ versus Mocha next. But again, I'm going to take a very brief break. Grab another drink real quick. Let me reset these scores, so I go ahead and have that done. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. It's always a pleasure hanging out on Friday nights with this wonderful scene. Don't forget, Jet Erickson's tournament, Vieshel Qualnez, is still underway. I'm going to be casting some loser round matches tomorrow, 4 p.m. EST. And other than that, yeah, we've just got the TnT Championship 2020.2 going on. Again, keep sending me replays. You can send through Discord, that is fine, but I do prefer if you can email them to me, guys. Just sometimes I miss them. I'm on Discord all the time and messaging a ton of people, so I might miss your replay if you submit it that way. That's the only caveat. So give me a little bit of a let's do like a 1-minute break again, and we'll hop into match number 3 tonight. So don't go anywhere. One more to top things off. Be back soon. Alright, everybody, I am back, and we are ready to roll for tonight's last series here. It's Qualnez, dude. No matter how many times you yell at me, I'm not gonna say it right. That is my best American Southern. Did I say weekend, man? You know, I don't typically think I have that big of a Southern accent, but it comes out in certain words, for sure. I just can't do it, man. Can't do it. We even had that poetry reading. It's qua. Check your DMs. Oh, are you sending me like a phonetic? Oh, you sent me a thing. Oh my god. Alright. I think everybody will hear it if I press this, so I hope I can trust you.
Qualnez.
Qualnez. I keep saying Qualnez. I think that's it. Delthius, dude. 100%. Qualnez. Dude, I'm sorry to disappoint you, lore nerds. I'm doing my best. Blame Master Stealth. That's what I say. Alright, guys. Match number 3, QQ versus Mocha. I'm really excited. My impressions of these players from what I've seen of them in the past. Mocha is very studious, very, you know, nose to the grindstone type of guy. Up to date on the meta, knows the windows. I think we'll be seeing some very standard, solid stuff out of Mocha. Meanwhile, QQ is a wildcat, man. QQ uses all kinds of off-the-wall stuff. A little bit of in the like Big Pimpintosh kind of area. So that's my prediction. I'd expect to see some solid standard macro styles out of Mocha. Maybe we'll see some skunk, mole, squirrel, bat, wolf, you know, owl, that kind of thing. And QQ's going to do crazy stuff like a bunch of defense and boar and fox. So let's see how it goes. Alright, spawning on the bottom, we've got two Meowls, aka QQ. And up on the left, we've got Mochaccino. Double tier 3 from both sides here. And again, you know, QQ representing a little bit of a wild card kind of strategy. Just lizards with ferrets, some defense, and a couple tier 3. Meanwhile, Mocha, ooh, interesting, tries to fake out with the 4-farm Warren. Immediately sells it though. He's trying to get QQ to invest in early Warrens and not need them. This can be a little bit dangerous though, because if you try to do that and go into like a straight 8-farm opening after that, you're asking, you know, for a counter attack. But Mocha knows what he's doing. He just goes for a 5-farm Warren after the fact. He's actually supply blocking here with the queued farms, you know, making sure he's not actually investing that 60 food into the squirrels. But not having a single squirrel here is a little bit troublesome, as QQ is out and about with the lizard. Doesn't really get anything done with it, though. And QQ is going to be a little bit happy with this map, I think. You know, lots of open spaces, a couple various alleyways to come in and try to attack with the lizards. Where's my emoji, Massive Self? Where's the Delthius emoji? Alright, again, a little bit of harassment here. Oh, yeah. It's only legal to use in Florida? Or is it not Florida? Yeah, even Jet has an emoji. Come on, man. It's only in Florida for Florida man. For Texas! It's only illegal in Texas. Alright, we got some expansions coming up here. And what's QQ gonna go for? Again, I feel like he's the wild card, you know. I think Mocha just wants to play this solid and standard. I think he wants to minimize taking risks that leaves him open, but at the same time, you know, find the little pressure points where he can gain some advantage. You know, there's a very fine line between playing safe and not losing the capability to dictate the game, if that makes sense. You know, you don't want to be too safe. You don't want to be always responding to your opponent, because even if you come in and scout, oh, they got 2 farms, let me build 2 farms, you're behind. Oh, they got a tier 2, I'll get a tier 2. Oh, they got a tier 3, I'll get a tier 3. You know, if you always end up playing like that, you'll be a step behind. So I think Mocha's really one of those players that just knows how to both prevent himself from being open to just dying, but at the same time, evolve his game plan. You know, get further and further. And did Mocha scout the tier 3? He hasn't. And Chameleon's first here makes a lot of sense against the lizards. QQ really trying to say to Mocha, hey man, you don't want to attack me right now. Look at all these things I have here. And really, he's just trying to buy time to get his boar up and running. Dude, how many whips do I have? I bet I have so many whips. I bet I probably don't. I never spend them, man. Oh, I gave, like, all my whips away. I do remember that. Just kind of screwing around on Discord. Ooh, Mocha finally sees it. No, he barely didn't see it. Oh, that is rough. But he's getting his own wolf. However, it's not going to be up in time. And this might just be GG here for QQ. He might be just going to come in and wreck face with this boar. He's got a fox on the way as well, and he didn't sell these balloons. These chameleons were going to try to do some shenanigans over the side, but Mocha decides to bring them back home for the time being. And yeah, I'm not sure if QQ's going to hard commit, but he's going to at least start poking up here with the boar. Oh, needs to be careful, though. He doesn't want to lose the boar. And yeah, just starts toasting through everything Mochaccino's got. He's desperately trying to get some more out, but he had so many Tier 2 Warrens. He's got a Tier 3 Warren on the way. He just doesn't have anything to answer this boar with all these lizards still alive here. And with QQ's economy not really being, you know, dampered too much by a lot. Yeah, he's invested in that fox. I don't know, man. Mocha might actually win. I'm sorry, not win, but stabilize. Yeah, he does kill that boar. But did he take too much damage? Like, that whole second base is gone. He lost a ton of Warrens. He does have the wolf. QQ very smartly selling off that boar, but he's got the fox coming up. And even if Mocha wanted to try to counter pressure, he just can't attack in through there. Mocha decides, alright, I'll try to go to the soft underbelly of your base. And oh, this is actually pretty ideal for Mocha. He's trying to create a base race scenario. That's like the only way he could win the game, and QQ needs to respect it. No, Mocha ends up going down as that last mill falls. Man, I was about to say, if Mocha, we see that so often, man. With some smart play from the guy who's behind, and they just end up with a base race scenario where they sneak out that victory. We almost had that scenario here. All right. Wait, I pressed the wrong score there. My bad. QQ. Quick victory in game number 1. Let's hop into game number 2. Alright, spawning on the left, we've got Mochaccino. His opponent. The top right, 2 Meows. AKA QQ. Keeping the same deck from QQ, meanwhile Mocha dropping, I think it was the Skunks for the Moles. I like this comp coming out here from Mocha. I think in general it's a nice defensive comp, which plays into Mocha wanting to, you know, get up his tier 3 units, maybe get up a whole bunch of Falcons. I don't think the Chameleons nowadays are as good at attacking in, but I think they do a pretty good job on defense, especially against a lot of tier 1 or against a Skunk opening for your opponent. Yeah, Sassy's pointing out in the chat. Nice, nice spawn here for Mocha. However, QQ with that lizard opening again. Gonna deny a farm, get a little bit of food off it. That keeps the lizard alive. Gonna go back home and keep farming up himself. But yeah, this map does look a little bit better for Mocha. He's got 3 bases up here on the high ground. QQ does technically have 3 bases right here as well, but this one base being on low ground is actually a really big deal. Some more poking and prodding going on for the moment, but QQ's going to take it back, but he might actually be in a little bit of trouble here. He's only got lizards, number 1, which are not good on defense, and number 2, Mocha didn't commit to a straight 8 farms like QQ did. Mocha went for that triple tier 1 off 6, so that means he's going to have a lot of squirrels knocking on the front door of our Hopper player here. Even backing it up with the moles. Mocha's ready. Wants to wait for those moles, but that turret's actually going to be up in time. He either needs to target that down immediately or try to find an angle where he's not taking too much turret damage. He's going to move in here, try to target down all those lizards, trying to keep his units out of that turret range. 1 Warren goes down already. 1 pig, 2nd pig about to fall as well. And QQ's in a little bit of trouble. He does still have 2 warrants here producing units. He's got a 3rd on the way. And Mocha doing a good job trying to dance around this turret. And this might be crippling damage. Keep in mind, Mocha is only on 6 farms. QQ can sell off that turret for basically an immediate extra farm there. Oh geez, I hope I don't have stream issues, do I? No, okay. My Twitch monitor went down for a second. It looks like we're good. And yeah, that is going to be it. Mocha punishing that lizard opening. Showing you this is how we play in the big league with the moles. Tying things up. Alright, 1-1. Let's hop into game number 3. Spine on the left, we've got QQ. His opponent to the right, Mochaccino. Same deck here for Mocha. Bit of an adjustment here for the 2 meows, aka the QQ. I don't think a Q is a meow sound though, so I'm a little bit confused. That's okay. And kind of interesting we see the pigeons out of QQ here. Typically we see pigeons paired up with skunks or badger. Neither one of those units in the common folk deck. Massive trying to be Tooth and Tail Dad, telling gentlemen he's staying up too late. Dude, Gent's got, like, so much dedication, man. I don't even think, like, so many feasts. He's, like, there to the end. I'm like, dude, it's, like, 4 in the morning over in Europe or something. The dude's a master. Yeah, oh, there you go. You just wake up really early. That's a way to do it. I think my favorite part in the feast history was when Gentleman was just like the undisputed king of the game, and like half the show would be somebody taking a map off the Gentleman, you know, maybe bad RNG for Gent or just some strategy he wasn't prepared for or expecting, or yeah, you make a mistake. It was just fun because it's like everybody would get so excited when they would beat the Gent, you know. That's what a lot of the feast was for a while. Oh man. I was getting overly hyped, thinking we might see some Tier 3. Alright, 8-farm double into an expand into Tier 2 for QQ. Meanwhile, Mocha going into the 8-farm double into double farms on that second base. Boom. QQ trying to pull a sneaky one on Mocha. Shows those farms building, sells them off. Mocha being that guy that likes to get the edge, likes to play that calculated macro game and stay a farm or 2 ahead of his opponent, slams down a whole bunch of extra farms. He is getting the skunks out, though. He just realized he's been bamboozled. But the chameleons aren't here yet. One cam is here. The other cam coming in shortly. And QQ gonna come in here and try to punish. Is this gonna be fast enough, though? I think he would have had to have been hitting right here, right now, and he's still waiting a little bit. He's trying to get that other cam up and running. But with the defender's advantage here, with these skunks in the back firing, with these pigs helping out as well, Mochaccino cleans this up, no problem. And that is just too much of a lead. Mocha takes the game. Man, I've lost so many matches to Mocha like that, too. Where I see him opening up so greedy, and I'm just like, dude, I can come in here and punish this, and he just barely has enough in situations like that. Yeah, windows are short, man. That is for sure. And those cams weren't quite out. I think if QQ hadn't built Tier 2, if he had slammed down a whole bunch of Tier 1, then he might have been able to get in there and get it done. But if that was the case, Mocha wouldn't have been as greedy. So that's what you gotta kind of keep in mind. Like, yeah, in a vacuum, if QQ slammed a bunch of Tier 1, Mocha still went for 4 farms, sure, but he wouldn't have done that. Okay, game number 4. Spot at the bottom, we got QQ. His opponent up top to left, Mochaccino. Grabbing toads this time around instead of moles. For both sides, really. Lizard Toad. Fun way to play. A little bit tricky to pull off, I think. I think Lizard Toad is probably the most difficult out of any of the Tier 1 combos. Maybe Lizard Mole, but have we ever seen Lizard Mole in a game? So let's see what it's going to be this time around. It's leaning towards 8 farm openings from both sides. That's exactly what the doctor ordered here. This map does look nice for QQ. He's got these 3 bases wrapped up nice and tight. Meanwhile, Mocha up here still has 3 bases, a bit more spread out, but honestly, I don't think it'll matter too much. I think this is a pretty balanced map, right? Both players have high ground on their side. Both players, a little bit of a no man's land in the middle. And yeah, Mocha's got to take a little bit of a jog to his other bases, but we'll see how much that matters. I mean, QQ does have lizards, so I don't think it's fair to totally count that out, especially when you can do attack paths like right through here, up into this way. You know, that's certainly an option. You know, QQ's got 3 possible attack paths with these lizards. Come in the front door, wrap it around to the side, or come in through the back. But Mocha does have toads, which is worrisome, and it puts QQ in an awkward position. Well, he doesn't have cams as well. I think if QQ had cams as well, these toads would be really, really devastating. Like, I feel like when you're running Lizard and Chameleon, like, getting countered on both of those is pretty rough. But since he is going for skunks here, and he does have his own toads, so if you're QQ, you want to try to keep your lizards back. You want to try to ram your toads into your opponents. Maybe even ideally into those cams. Yeah, QQ's trying to look for a position here. He is going to come in and poke the front, but he doesn't have quite the critical mass of lizards to just straight up bop that Warren down. And the toads are starting to cook here. QQ is going to see the toads, and he's not going to be happy. Ooh, this is dangerous. He is going to catch Mochaccino out of position, but there's no way he's getting those units back home. Mocha knows it. He's going to run right in here. The skunks are already dropping. These lizards start coming in to join the fray. But with these double cams, this is the situation chameleons love. They love fighting lizards. They love fighting small amounts of tier 1. They're going to start pressuring in. Already a Warren goes down, but QQ does manage to kill both those cams there. Absolutely huge. Keep in mind, those lizards did kill a farm. So QQ with a pretty significant economic advantage right now. Trying to get into some falcons. I'm not sure if that's exactly what he needs, though, because he's got to get units right here, right now. Mocha's really bringing the heat. QQ's pretty confident. All right, man, I hold this off. And I got the falcons propel me into the mid-game. Good micro with these lizards, trying to avoid all those toe connections as possible. And with these lizards buffering up front, with these skunks hitting down some good gas, I think QQ's going to push Mochaccino back for now. And if he can do this successfully while keeping both his skunks alive, he's going to be in a phenomenal position. But Mochaccino really, really wants to get at least one of these skunks, and he can't at the end of the day. No, he's still keeping it coming. He's got one cam here. The other one's a little bit wishful thinking. 60 food being saved up. And this economy with these warrants is going to be rough. Pushing in again, this cam falls immediately. Really not the position where you want this chameleon at the moment. Ooh, good toe connection though. And one of the skunks go down, but the other one stays. Hey, QQ doing a great job handling this aggression so far. Really nice micro trying to play around these toads. And Mocha's in a very rough spot. He's got to sell off the cams. He's got to try to get whatever he can up and running. Meanwhile, QQ, he's probably just going to wait until his additional tier 2 has hit the field, and he's just going to pull the trigger here and probably run over Mochaccino. Let's see if Mocha can make a miracle happen. Mocha knows he's behind. He knows he doesn't want to give QQ any time to really magnify this this advantage. He's gonna push in. Actually, some okay connections there, but oh, good one there, but just not quite enough, and that's probably gonna be the tap from Mocha. You should know this counterattacks just got him checkmated with so much tier 2 living through that engagement. Now with QQ a little bit supply block, needs to go home, maybe sell the pigeons, maybe sell the toads. Maybe he's waiting on that last skunk to get here. A little bit unlucky for QQ that that farm that he took out earlier on was not a starting farm. Because that would have put Mocha at 3 farms right now. But that's a little bit of a blessing for Mocha. And let's see if Mocha, with the defender's advantage, can make something happen. But, you know, my gosh, just being down 2 tier 2 Warrens right here, it seems like a stretch. Here comes Mochaccino with the Hail Mary attack. Gonna try to push in one last time. Make it happen right here, right now. Really hoping for some good toe connections. He doesn't quite get the connections he's looking for. However, he does manage to kill those skunks, but so many lizards and falcons left on the field. That's the tap from Mocha. QQ tying it up 2-2. Very close series we've got here. Let's see what happens in game number 5. Spine on the bottom left, we've got Mochaccino. His opponent to the rights, QQ. Going back to previous style we saw from QQ. Mochaccino opting for that same deck composition. And we've got a big wonky map here, so maybe we'll see a macro game. If that is the way that it ends up going, it looks pretty even. Maybe I like it a little better for QQ. I don't know, actually. I think I kind of like it better for Mocha, right? Because if Mocha takes us 3rd, then this 4th is kind of in his hands. Meanwhile, QQ's got this natural, which is good. But this 3rd base right here is on the low ground. It's going to be really easy for Mocha to attack into it. Really awkward map with a lot of no man's land. Here in the middle, here near the 4 o'clock. Yeah, judging from this geography, you know, as long as Mochaccino sets up right here, he should be able to defend basically all 3 of his bases quite nicely. This is a little bit of an annoying terrain, though. You know, if Mocha's kind of set up by this campfire, you can't really hard engage on this without going around one way or the other. But, you know, as long as Mocha controls this area, he naturally gets that 4th base. It's very rare we see games go that long, but with both players opening up with 8 farms, single tier 1 into an expansion, we do have the starts of a macro game. And Mocha, man, he's just one of these guys who really understands how to be greedy and get away with it. He's not pulling any punches, man. Straight up to 3 farms on that 2nd base. And I think what QQ's doing is more quote-unquote correct in a vacuum. You know, a little bit safer, right? Getting that 2nd tier 1 Warren up, getting a couple farms. But Mocha's playing greedy, and greedy punishes safe, you know? QQ does scout that very quickly and follows suit, so not going to be the biggest deal in the world, to be honest. Mocha's only going to enjoy those farms being up for a very slight amount of time before QQ's catch up. QQ's going to try to come in here, but this is not going to work out. Gonna trade, actually, you know what, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. You know, he trades relatively even there. He forces a sell from Mocha on one of those farms. He's gonna go ahead and get back home. And he knows Mocha's going straight up to full 2-base sat. He's probably gonna follow suit. What's interesting to note is that QQ does have the turrets in balloon. So if Mocha sleeps a little bit, as the gentleman's pointing out on the chat, on like these bases up here, you know, if QQ could get set up That's a really good position, you know. Imagine a balloon on like this side of this awkward terrain, that awkward wall I was talking about earlier. Oh man, Mocha! Mocha with the greed! Oh my god, did he see the tier 3? Okay, he did. I love this from Mocha, man. He's just like, alright, you're gonna play greedy, I'm gonna play even more greedy than you. Second tier 31 we're coming out from QQ as well. Dude, this game is so nuts. Just like straight up to 16 farms from both sides. Straight up to double tier 3. And I think this master composition Mochaccino's putting together is going to work out nicely. And keep in mind, guys, that there's a reason these guys are playing so greedy. I mean, this map is so large, it's so wonky. You know, a lot of these little timing windows where it's like, oh, you built too many farms on your natural, you know, and tried to get a tier 2. I'm just going to come in and kill you with moles. Like, those kinds of timings are definitely affected by this awkward terrain, by these large rush distances, so you can get away with being more greedy. And this greed is also based on a lot of information. Both players doing a really good job of scouting one another. And it's kind of become an arms race in a way. It's like, oh, you're going to play greedy? I'm going to play just a little more greedy than you, where I get the advantage, but I don't play so greedy as to where I just straight up die. Here comes QQ. He's got the boar. He's looking to get roasting. These Falcons are pretty good against the boar, but does he have the numbers? These chameleons here helping to try to deal with the lizards. Those Falcons going down immediately. All the tier 2 going down for Mocha. This boar, large and in charge, even gets the wolf. Oh my god, is QQ gonna get this boar out alive? He's got the fox to back it up. The fox, special operations here, showing up just in time to save Uncle Butters, to snipe the owl. The boar goes down, but gladly sacrificed. So much damage has been dealt. That chameleon dies in the shadow. These lizards a little bit delayed from having to kill a cabin on the way here. This fox getting down to just 2 HP, but keeping the pressure on. QQ knows he's got the momentum. He wants to deal the killing blow here. He doesn't want to give Mocha any time to recover, which is what would happen possibly if he brought this fox home to try to heal. But with these chameleons here, this fox might be dead. There it is. That chameleon just needed one more shot, but so many lizards here on the ground. This other fox has spawned, but QQ has just dealt crippling damage already. Mocha has simply lost enough. Even if he manages to hold off on this onslaught of lizards, he does keep the wolf alive. QQ is going to have to go home for now, but it's 10 farms to 2, man. That boar is already back out on the field. This is a tournament match. If this was a ladder match, I think Mocha probably would have tapped out already, but going to give it his best shot here. End up going down. Tight series. 3-2 for QQ. Alright, once again, we are getting close to the end of the show, guys, so allow me to do my my plugs one more time. I know we got people who come and go. We got the Vyeshul Quolnes Losers Round 3 matches tomorrow, 4 p.m. EST, here on ToothAndTailTV. That was a lot of rhyming. That wasn't not intentional. So I'll be casting more tomorrow, guys. Some more really high-level competitive Tooth and Tail. It is going to be on the custom maps, so that's always a lot of fun. Don't forget to keep sending me replays, ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com. I do plan on doing a feast next Friday night, so we'll kind of shift around when I'm doing all this tournament stuff. I am still involved helping out with the custom map tournament. I'll be casting weekly for Tooth and Tail Championship 2, basically throughout its entirety, so lots of stuff coming up still. Keep that in mind, guys. And I don't know, we got Mocha here. Do we know when the next TnT Championship 2020 stream is going to be? If you do know, if you got that lined up, go ahead and plug that in the chat as well, so people know when to look out for that. Let's get it, guys. Game number 6. Are we going to go all the way to Game 7? I hope so. Let's find out. Spawning on the bottom, we've got QQ. Opponent up top to the right, Mochaccino. Again, staying with the same decks. There's really nothing wrong with that. You know, it is nice to have that bag of builds, you know, that you can whip out in a best of 7. But in my opinion, especially in intermediate or like beginner, I think you are much better off like really understanding one deck and just piloting that. And sure, yeah, there are counter positions which are possible. But I think what people forget, we see a 5-farm Lizard, by the way, from QQ, and Boca did scout it. But I think what people... excuse me, I think what people forget is that even within the same deck, there can be a lot of different build orders, a lot of different play styles, you know what I mean? So that can definitely be a thing as well. I hope I didn't miss any Lizard aggression, but I don't think QQ's moved out just yet. Yeah, he's still hanging out. He's actually kind of forced Mochaccino to overreact, but this is going to come back and bite QQ in the butt, possibly. You know, since Mocha did go for that double tier 1 to defend against this, assuming Q had a double tier 1, now he's going to follow this up with moles. And this is a large map with a large rush distance. QQ is desperately trying to get out some more lizards here, but right now Mocha's got a very big advantage. He's got the moles here, which can help pound down these warrens. He doesn't even need to, though. He gets that one warren for free. Mocha doing a really good job microing these moles, keeping them back. He wants to use these moles as a front line to buffer against the lizards. They do exactly that. And QQ's taking some real damage. He taps out. A swift win here for Mochaccino. And guys, get hyped because we got a game number 7 on our hands. Last match of the night, going all the way. This is it. This is for all the marbles. Let's see what happens. The final map of the night. In the right, we've got QQ. And on the left, we've got Mochaccino. Again, the same decks here. Short map. Man, this pure lizard style from QQ has been really interesting. Again, I have a horrible short-term memory, but I don't really recall a lot of games this series where QQ even picks up the squirrels. He's gone pure lizard, he's gone lizard and toad. I think probably like one of the games he had squirrels at least. But what I really like is the use of lizards. You know, lizards can get outshined by moles in the modern meta. Again, we see more early game shenanigans here. Is one lizard enough? I don't think so. Neither does QQ. He's going to back out for now. But yeah, we often see lizards get outshined by moles in the modern meta. The big reason is moles get that additional 10 seconds. You can build the warrens anywhere. They're very good for punishing your opponent. Like, oh, here's an attack window where I can just win the game. Let me build a few mole warrens and swing in. But lizards are really good in a lot of ways that I feel like are a bit underutilized in the current meta. You know, the map control you can get with lizards, the possibility for flanking, and the fact that they're good against so many units. You know, they're good against every tier 2 besides chameleons. They're good against fox. They're good against badger. Hell, even wolf to some degree. So really cool to see QQ, you know, bring in lizards to the table over and over. One thing that is a bit rough about only running lizards is if you try to do a lot of these early lizard game shenanigans, you get punished. Your opponent takes a favorable trade. They can also oftentimes come in and swing for the win. And that's where it's nice to have something like squirrels as well, where you don't have to commit into like 12 lizards. You can go like 6 lizards, 6 squirrel. It's like, okay, I come in, I snipe a pig, I lose a few lizards, but I've got squirrels back at the house, you know, which can help mitigate that that counterattack potential. But Mocha, man, he's just not impressed by lizards. He's like, you know what? You can't do anything about these moles. And the thing is about this comp, you know, if these moles wind up getting on top of these warrens, you know, it's just exponential damage. All of a sudden, QQ can't produce, can't keep up. And QQ doing a good job trying to keep the attack up here on the high ground away from his structures, and this warren barely living. I'd love to see QQ maybe sell that turret, put it out here more, you know. With these moles in play, he doesn't really want to fight too much in his warrens. Yeah, I agree with Jen. I think lizards are super viable and a little bit underutilized. But it's hard because, you know, double tier 3 is pretty meta right now. So you can't have everything in your deck, right? And 9 times out of 10, having Squirrel Mole is very nice, you know, just for that potential to punish timing windows. And here we go. Big lizard attack gonna come right in and try to get on top of all these units, but Mocha cleans it up, no problem. Just the right amount of moles here to keep these lizards busy as the squirrels fired them down, and now QQ is a little bit worried. He's got a couple defensive turrets here. He sells one off. He wants to get into ferrets. I don't think that's the right call. I think he's too much under attack right now. I think maybe that ferret call might be losing QQ the game here. We'll see if QQ... Here's the thing, though. It's a high-risk, high-reward play, because if QQ cleans this up, which, you know, we're seeing these lizards dominate in these big open fields, but if QQ can hold the door with these lizards for a little while and get these ferrets up, you know, Mocha's got no answer to that. And QQ can start riding that value train that these ferrets are going to present, you know, right to the victory. You can sell this turret, he can put it up here on the high ground, he can poke down this base. Once that base is down, he expands territory, he sells the turret, he puts the turret up more forward, he keeps poking down these forward warrens. You know, that's definitely a viable line of victory here. And while I was worried, QQ knew he had just enough to be able to hold off against Mocha's aggression, get the ferrets out, and Mocha just doesn't have anything he can do about this. The best thing he can do, in my opinion, is just micro the moles up front. Since he only has 3 of them, he's not likely to lose any to random shots, and just try to stop the ferrets from actually attacking things. I think QQ wanted to expand his territory with that mill, but then he just realized, oh, once I kill my opponent's mill, my territory will just naturally expand, just like that. We passed the 5-minute mark about a half a minute ago. Economies are starting to go down in the dumps. So that means once these armies collapse, you know, there's going to be some serious selling that's going to have to be done. This is so many turrets, though. I don't know if I agree with that. I think QQ needs to sell a couple of these turrets, rebuild them as close to the front lines as possible, start, you know, leapfrogging them up, sell those back ones, you know, start building them more and more forward. Mocha desperately trying to build up a big army to deal with this, but there's simply too many turrets here. Mocha cannot engage. Unless he can bait QQ into a fight way away from these turrets, it's just not going to happen. Oh, QQ getting a little bit too greedy with the ferrets. Oh, man, it almost lived. Some hero squirrel getting that last shot in, though, knocking it out. Someone give that squirrel a medal. Look at trying to get that second base established. Yeah, I'd love to see these turrets start leapfrogging up. You know, sell those back ones and start building them more and more forward. I think he needs turrets like right here on the edge of that territory. Gonna come in for that deep scout. Make sure there's no tier 3 on the way or anything like that. Mocha's not gonna be happy seeing this expansion. Trying to position his cams up to deny any kind of quick farm going down. Yeah, here comes that turret leapfrog I was talking about. And with this mill here, you know, this lockdown is going to get more and more oppressive as the territory for QQ stretches well almost to these warrens here. One warren going down. Again, Mocha just can't engage. You can't attack into 5 turrets, dude. It's very rare you ever can. Yeah, I think Mocha really just needs to dance with the moles. You know, stop microing the whole army. Just micro those 3 moles. And keep the ferrets from actually hitting anything worthwhile. These ferrets are picking up value. They've got pop shots off on your tier 1 here and there. They've knocked down 2 tier 1 Warrens. They've knocked down a Gristmill. And QQ being very careful with his turrets. You know, QQ's a great player. He knows what I'm saying. Like, hey, put the turrets, you know, up front as far as possible, but he's trying to be safe about it. He doesn't want to make that leap too quickly. Another ferret going down. Nicely done from Mocha. 1 farm from both sides, dude. This is it, man. Army graphs show QQ in the lead, but do keep in mind, a lot of that money is those turrets, and QQ stepping a bit too far forward is going to be able to get back in time, though. Yeah, this is super rough. Oh, he is going to pick up that ferret right there. Very nicely done. Yeah, and keep in mind, these ferrets have gotten a lot done, but at the same time, Mocha's killed 3 ferrets, right? What have the ferrets killed? They've killed 2 tier 1 Warrens and a mill. Oh, QQ just gonna go for the counter. Realizing he's not gonna be able to take this army straight up with Mocha finding that right window. However, Mocha's gonna be hard-pressed to really do a base race because of these turrets. Mocha's gonna desperately try to get home in time, but I don't think it's gonna happen. QQ managing to take the series in a very action-packed final match here. Really punishing Mocha for finding the hole to get in there to take out that base. And some really cool matches tonight, guys. 3-4. QQ taking the series. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the stream. Thank you all so much for tuning in, guys. It's always a pleasure. Keep your eyes peeled for more Tooth and Tail Championship 2020.2 matches. A lot of different streamers are involved with this. We've got Kerpa, we've got Cowboy Cass, we've got Solomon, just to name a couple. We've also got the Vieshel Quolnes matches going on tomorrow. I'm going to get through all the losers round 3, so I think that's going to be 3 best of 3s. Or is it best of 5? I think it's best of 3. No, it's best of 5s. 3 best of 5s. We're going to have Big Pimpintosh versus Kerpa. We're going to have Kalaru versus this guy. We're going to have Solomon versus Season 1 player, who off the top of my head, I don't remember what their actual name is in the scene. So we got that coming up on my end tomorrow. Also, keep sending me replays, ToothAndTailTV@gmail.com for your regularly scheduled feasts. I'm going to try to coordinate next week to do some games, either maybe on like next Wednesday or next weekend or something like that. I do have a lot of replays piling up. So next Friday night, same time, same channel, we're going to be doing some replay casting. Sorry, everybody. You're all a bunch of beautiful nerds. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And, you know, let's go say hi to Meow Kaiser, man. He's an old school Tooth and Tail guy. Trying to get his streamer thing going on. So let's give him a raid. And take care, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow for some more tournament matches for the Vieshel Quolnes event. Take care, everybody.